So in Jira, we have Jira now, right? You all should be using Jira. So with your teams, you should be creating like user stories and driving your stuff based on user stories. This is a really, really important thing. So typically you do something like, as a user, I want to be able to search for an apartment so that I can find a place to live. This is kind of like a bad example, but this is, has anybody seen this before or know what a user story is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Work with them, cool. So this is a very common format. It's like as I want to, so that. Typically this drives like the communication that you have in all the meetings that you go into. It's like you want to be the user. You want to phrase yourself at all times. You want to be like putting yourself in some user's shoes. This is actually kind of hotly debated, like choosing as a user versus choosing like something more specific, like as an ASU student or something like that, just because user is really generic. So it kind of like blands out the whole idea of like, who is this person who's interacting with the site. So that's what I say when I say like focusing on features you want to build. This is essentially just like a very short list of these kind of things, the very user-facing features that you build.
If we have sort of like two faces for our clients, we have like the students who would be using the websites to find housing, and then also like the apartments themselves who would like sign up essentially to have their spaces advertised on the platform. Like, would you have two sets of user stories then for like both sets of clients?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there's two types of people using it, then yeah, it would be two separate people. So yeah, and that kind of helps like splitting these two. Just because these, obviously this is focusing on like ASU students or whoever this like ideal person is, which it is kind of ASU focused right now, right? That's the original idea. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so filtering features based on pricing. What other like stuff were you hoping in the end result, not necessarily in a viable product, but result?
Like we want to be able to like provide results based on those filters and then link the results to the actual websites.
So like external links.
Yeah, external links.
Anything else on those listings themselves?
A map, we want to have a map too. And then we were thinking about like possible like reviews as well from users who have leased spaces in different buildings. I think those are like our main ones.
So these are like, they seem small but not, and it's pretty big. So what typically you do with this, and what I'm encouraging you guys to do is taking these concepts, figuring out what you actually want as like minimal, the thing that makes this work, right? That you can start testing pretty easily. So what is minimal on this? Filtering by features. This obviously means that you have listings themselves, right? So you already need like people to move about with. What is like the minimal product for housing? How do you define that? And guys, I want you to be engaged on this. So let's kind of keep this like an open dialogue, right? I'm not going to keep holding these sessions if not a lot of people show up too. So I will start warning people on that, and so encourage your team to start coming. I don't really like wasting time, so let's figure out what we want for this, right? So filtering features based on prices and amenities. What do we want to do for that?
You need like some kind of database, I guess, for features, and and prices and amenities before you have filtering of them.
So what are those features then?
Like features of the house, like if they have multiple bathrooms, maybe. I don't really know. The amount of bedrooms.
Amenities.
Yeah, amenities like maybe like a gym, pool, yeah, laundry services.
I think prices would be the easiest to figure out. It's like-
Prices and distance too.
Yeah. Distance to what? Like ASU?
Distance to campus, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it kind of like a singular thing, that distance to ASU is really the...
Yeah, like we'd be thinking like distance to like a center point, like maybe
Mhm.
like the center of campus.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this seems like the thing, right? Like prices is pretty much the thing, you just want like a
Mhm.
dummy.
That's how I
website.
always sort it, is by prices. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think you would just start with getting like the names and the prices.
Cool.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Cool.
The map you can just pretty much import, right, from Google. You don't need to build anything with that.
You can use their maps, yeah. You still have to like layer on top of
Oh,
your
really?
Yeah.
visualization.
Like, cause how does Airbnb do it with where they have like the listings on top of specific locations?
Mhm. Yeah, they do, like they use Google Maps below, but they basically just layer on like latitude, longitude. So you just have like
Oh, that's pretty
lat,
easy.
long,
Oh,
each.
okay.
And then you can still use like Google for that.
Right, yeah, there's a competitor, Mapbox. So Mapbox or Google Maps are like the two that you can use for this.
Uh-huh.
Mapbox uses like vector-based maps. It's just a different technology.
Is that like considered an API?
The way that you pull these maps,
Mhm.
it's yeah, I guess it's an API. Yeah, because they basically
Pretty much,
like
right?
those tiles and stuff. Cool. So it sounds like dummy list of prices and map is really what you want.
Yeah.
Cool. What about the other ideas that we're talking about? So we just talked about Hausa.
Mhm.
What other ideas have we been talking about?
Wait, can I take a picture of that really quick?
Yeah. What other teams are represented here?
Our team.
Yeah, our team is
We
here.
don't have a name yet, though.
I was calling it the router project.
I was calling it Robert's Project.
Robert's project. I changed it to router. TR.
Yeah, I think the Router Project for now is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could make a name out of that eventually.
Yeah, some cute little name.
Our terminal promise would probably be a pie or something that can at least analyze the data.
Yeah.
And see what's happening.
Well, I feel like there's two sides. I feel like a minimum viable product from a Raspberry Pi perspective and also from a UI perspective. Like you might build a basic demo of what the UI is going to look like for interacting with the system. I feel like those are the two sides of it.
So I guess our user story is like as a internet user or something.
I'm scared of Google, like reading my mind. And stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
As an internet user, I want to be able to control like access to
Yeah.
my what would you call it?
The cookie data?
Or
It's sort of
yeah,
the cookie data.
Yeah, like access to my data.
Wait, what are cookies though? I don't really understand the like purpose of them.
They're just.
It's
like
track
used
you.
for
It's like-
ads.
Yeah, so you can leave a trail.
I'll show you what cookies look like.
It's like a save file for your client.
Yeah.
So like, if someone takes a cookie for you, it's like they're saving data about you. So when you visit the site again, it's different. It has your data already loaded.
Now is that all saved in Chrome? Or like in
It's
your
all
browser?
saved on your browser.
Into the-
I'll show you guys just because I think this is useful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cookies typically you see manifested in like headers. Stats. So if I go to like YouTube, they are
A couple of years ago, Henrik Knieber.
definitely tracking me.
Oh yeah, there's one place.
So you can see. Interesting that request might happen. Okay, So this is like a set cookie header. Typically you see these, so cookie, these are
yeah.
cookies.
So-
So it's sent in some request here.
If you go up to the URL, if you block that specific URL, that exact one, will that block that cookie from doing anything?
I don't know if you really, like, this would be a risky URL to block. I think this is just their logging mechanism.
Yeah.
What you guys are probably blocking is more like, if I loaded this and it hit an ad server.
Yeah, some other like non-YouTube URL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that you can maybe even block cookies though if you can get that URL.
So cookies are pretty inherent to the way the web works.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I make this request, a cookie is logging me in, essentially, like keeping me logged in.
Okay.
So like, if you go to here, you can see all these cookies. Google's probably a bad example.
They're gonna have so many.
Yeah, because there's a ton. But like, you can see all these cookies here. I'm sure one of these is like my user ID. Maybe login info.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be tracking like your preferences across like the different like quality you choose, like what the viewing mode is.
Is that-
So is each thing a separate cookie, like each setting a separate cookie?
I think it's like a mix of what's stored, like so like because there was like a preference cookie, it's like a login.
Yeah, each of those is different though. Each of those is
We talked about it last time. We could probably find like some kind of pre-built database for these, for like the advertisement cookies that someone built
Yeah.
out. That just has a ton of them.
But I guess what I'm trying to point out is cookies are sent as requests to these. Like, you're basically blocking network traffic, right?
Yeah.
But these cookies are really baked into the network traffic I'm trying to use. Like, I just went to sendgrid.com, it sent this cookie. So you can't necessarily just block this cookie. That wouldn't be really possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this was sent when I went to sendgrid.com, my browser has a list of cookies. If I clear those, they'll go away. But so I just repopulated those.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Right.
requests that were made.
Yeah. Blocking cookies was maybe like a secondary function for this
Also,
thing
just
anyway.
insane. This is kind of fun to do. Just going on a random website and looking at like all the things. I just went to one website and they just sent my data to like all these different places.
Yeah. And now isn't it like,
Facebook, Google.
yeah, like, isn't there like a policy where browsers were like facilitating the exchange of cookies and then browsers stopped doing that? And now it's like like a lot of times directly between like companies and websites.
So I just want to make it clear, when we talk about cookies, we're really not talking about like when companies say they use cookies, it's a really generic term. Basically, your browser is making a request. Crappy laptop again. So your browser is making a request to some website, and in like the headers to that website is some cookie. So it's super generic. It's used for like login information to say like, I'm this person, I use a cookie. Basically, like the way typical cookies are used is browser makes a request to a website responds back with a set cookie header. And it says set cookie like auth 1, something like that. That's basically like what the response is. Your browser sees that and it says, okay, I'm going to set this cookie, this auth cookie, to 1 on my local. And so now every time your browser makes a subsequent request to this website, it's going to send this cookie in the header. So it's going to send that like MUI, whatever, every time. So this was initially set by some set cookie response header in a network request. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
you can see those like, I kind of showed them before. I don't really see them here, but either way, these did get sent somewhere. Some set cookie response header.
So this stuff was like already done, right? So if you clear your cookies, but the information's already sent, like, does that really do anything? Or does it prevent them from sending it again or something like that?
So they can resend it, and they probably will. Like I just cleared them and they kind of
repopulate.
reset them.
Yeah.
So I just reset it and all these cookies got set. I wish I could show you an easier, because these websites are just riddled with cookies. God, ASU is one of them actually, which is kind of bad. They send a lot of like weird shit, especially when you're signing up for like grad school.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is fun.
And who are these people receiving the cookies? Just
Well, that's Google Analytics, but yeah, Facebook. I don't know what that
Ads.
is. New Relic is like a monitoring thing. YouTube.
wait, but these are GET requests. How are they being sent to these people? Is it?
So when you load the page, there's like a bunch of things that are loading that's saying like make a request to here. Yeah. I saw a few others last time. I think it was like, so Google Analytics is a really common one. That's just the way that people do analytics on their websites. But
Yeah.
there are other ones. Anyway, so you can see like on here, I'm sure it's setting. I'm not seeing a good example. Okay, well there's this cookie. I'm sure that was set somewhere previously. Anyway, yeah. But to learn about cookies, like just kind of look at network traffic. You'll see them set in here. So there's essentially such a thing as. So you can see the domain where it's set, right? So you see like it's set at .asu or whatever, expiration date, path, and then HTTP only and secure are like a pretty common ones that you should know about. So essentially what that means is HTTP only means that you can only look at that cookie in a network request. So what that means is you basically, if it's HTTP only, you can't see it here. Like you can't see it where the code is running on your browser. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It probably doesn't make sense, right?
I don't get that.
Yeah. So essentially what that means is, like I'm saying, in this headers thing, server responds with the set cookie. This is ASU. It decides it wants to set off to 1 on your computer. So it sends that set cookie response header to your computer. Browser sets that somewhere here. Like maybe it's J session ID or something instead. So it sets J session ID. And so then on subsequent requests, it always sends that cookie J session ID. But you can never read that, like if it's HTTP only, you can never read that in the client, in like the JavaScript that's running on this domain. Does that make
Why not?
sense? Because it's HTTP only. So it's like it's a security thing.
Okay.
They don't want you to read it.
Yeah, and in particular, they don't want somebody else to read it. So if you somehow got JavaScript to execute on this page in some way, you could read this J session ID if it wasn't HTTP only. If you somehow got JavaScript running on ASU's
Yeah.
page. So it's called cross-site scripting. If you're able to get your own code to execute on here, then it would be like a huge thing, because you can basically get these really important cookies for people. So that's why HTTP only exists. And then this is like a layer on top of that, secure. It just means it needs to be HTTPS. So the needs to be secured.
Wait, so HTTP only versus HTTPS, is there a difference?
Yeah, so HTTP only just means like network requests only. This is basically like a next step saying like secure. So secure means like the request that's being made also needs to be encrypted. It needs to be like using TLS.
And you still can't access that in the browser, right?
Still
Because
can't
it has
access
to
the
go
browser.
through HTTP and then HTTPS.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, kind of got distracted, but so router project. Let's do just like quick stuff, and then we can end early today. Do you guys have any questions on that before I continue? Any like
Well,
cookies questions?
Oh.
Yeah.
How
You
are
can go first, yeah.
how are cookie names like how do who what how are they given?
Arbitrary.
Okay.
You can give it any name you want.
And so if you like clicked on one of those cookies, how do you tell what it means?
You kind of just know. You just look at them a lot. If you're the person writing the code, then you're kind of choosing like what these cookie names are. So if you're responsible for ASU, and like J session ID is like a Java thing. So this is like a pretty common thing. There's usually like common cookie names that people use.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I'll give you one more little intro here, just so you're kind of aware of like the ways that people usually store things like locally on your browsers. So local storage is the other one, which you guys have probably have heard of before. So you can just see that here. So you can kind of see the way things are stored here. Local storage. This is like a JavaScript object.
So would they store like images on here just to make the website load faster?
Not usually. Usually it's like key value pairs. So, for instance, this is like a key value pair. This is a really long value, but it's a key value pair where they're just storing like ways that things are being displayed. It's kind of like saving your state.
Yeah.
So,
So
if
like
you have like
cache?
certain settings and stuff,
Mhm.
you usually store them in local storage.
Yeah, like
So
volume has muted 100, and it adjusts.
So I change that and it adjusts and it's saving that. So it's just a way if I reloaded this page, it would continue to be on volume 20, right?
Those are all key value pairs.
Yeah. Yeah, key value.
So try and delete that and see what happens. With the volume like go.
Probably not, no. But if I reload it, it won't be in the same state.
And it like dynamically changes.
I guess it recovered from that, so maybe it saves it in multiple places. Interesting.
No, you can never adjust your volume again. Well, it says you got
From
signed out,
YouTube.
didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got signed out and your settings disappeared.
Interesting.
Never allowed on YouTube.
Cool. So let's do just router project really fast, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. So router project. What else? We said
Yeah, I think it's like
what do we want as minimum viable product.
testing with a Raspberry Pi and also building a basic UI. Web.
So what does that mean for the user? As an internet user, I want to be able to control my web traffic so that what is like the main user story
Right.
behind this project?
So that I can.
I guess the original idea was just to block ads, on like network at like a network level.
Yeah.
But you can really block anything you want. You can expand it to be really whatever.
Yeah.
Let's kind of keep it that for now, because that's probably the biggest use case.
Yeah, definitely.
Blocking ads, the biggest use case. So, block ads at a network level.
What does it mean to block ads at a network level versus another level?
Yeah. So like if you're if we were both connected to my router and I had this thing running, we both wouldn't see any ads on
Yeah, you just wouldn't
anything.
see ads.
And then if your TV was also connected to that, you wouldn't see YouTube ads on your TV. So
Yeah.
just
So it's like you wouldn't need like an ad blocker on the device.
Yeah.
Or anything, like a private,
Oh,
like a VPN.
okay.
right?
it gets vetted before it even comes in, sort of.
Yeah.
They draw a router.
I don't know.
Just a box with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was exactly was thinking.
That's-
An old TV.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly how this works, but I'm guessing you guys just like basically tossing a Raspberry Pi in between
Yeah,
here and the router, or the router
and the wall. Yeah,
The router and the wall.
and then it should.
I just have been trusting you saying this is possible.
Really?
I've never.
GitHub says it's possible.
Yeah.
Oh really? I didn't go on GitHub.
I don't see why it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's definitely something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just looks for like requests flowing through.
Yeah.
And just
Well-
like, shuts some of them down.
Mhm.
according to-
Yeah, and you tell it what to look for. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing why this is like annoying to use is because you need to know the specific domains that are sending you ads,
Mhm.
and you know, like normal people aren't going to look up these huge domains that are
Right.
really long domain addresses. So we wanted to make kind of categorize different domains to being like ads, really like maybe like
Yeah.
annoying ads or something, like really like big ads.
Yeah. Like
Something
major,
like that.
Major ad servers,
Yeah.
because those things tend to come from
Pop-ups or something. And just being like a user can click on, you know, some kind of button in the UI and be like,
Yeah.
okay, then all these domains are blocked from sending
Right.
you traffic or sending you something.
So to make it like a simpler process. for the
Yeah.
user.
So toggleable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe more granular, like the ability to block a specific.
Yeah, you can block really whatever you want. You can
Yeah.
block YouTube if you wanted, or like a specific video on YouTube even.
With the Raspberry Pi, would it need to be like, because depending on your internet speed, you don't want the Raspberry Pi to like slow it down.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it might slow it down.
Because
Your internet
imagine
speed
the
slows
Raspberry
down.
Pi
I don't know how
block-
much it would slow it down by though.
I think that's dependent on how much the Raspberry Pi can take as an input.
Yeah,
You
like
think
what's
so?
like Ethernet through.
I didn't-
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Only the newest Raspberry Pi is gigabit, and I think gigabit is the fastest you can get in like.
I don't even have
consumer.
gigabit.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
We could test that though. That would be interesting to test.
That would be something that you would test with like an MVP, I feel like, see how it works.
Yeah.
Find out that your internet
It's
connection
like
still is like kilobytes.
Yeah.
No, there's no
Yeah,
way
right.
he's running. This is not gigabit internet here, there's no way.
Yeah, it wouldn't work at like ASU. It wouldn't be able to like. It would work at your house,
Yeah.
probably, most likely.
So blocking at the network level, something about toggleable, maybe that's like a web interface or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's to me, that's one of the bigger goals, is to have like a simple interface that.
And do we want to
Makes
use
it clear as well.
to like tell the user what's being sent?
Yeah, I think we should
It
have.
could be a
Yeah.
little bit like educational, like what's going on.
Or just like a monitoring, like every time you go to like a different webpage, it'll show you what
Yeah.
domains are being like.
Or how your data's being used and stuff like that. I can see that.
Like tracking,
Yeah.
like some sort of analytics, that would be cool.
So kind of like we're looking at like the network tab on Google Chrome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
That, but like not confusing.
Confusing, yes.
So if all that's possible,
Yeah, because all this stuff it has a UI already, but it's like it's not very user friendly at all.
Mhm.
And I guess I guess the concept behind it isn't really user friendly either. So it would make sense that the UI also wouldn't be. I'm trying to think.
Cool. Do you want like user profiles and stuff, ways of logging in?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
When we do it per device, like,
App-based, maybe. Mobile app.
Well, no, it's network wide though, so you could.
But you could still have some sort of like user profiles that you could toggle that make it so like it's a thing for the whole network based on what a certain user chooses.
Yeah,
we
that's a
could
good idea.
put devices under profiles, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I'd have to
Well, even
identify
if,
devices by.
right, I mean, even if you didn't worry
managers.
about doing that, like, you could just have certain profiles, like, this is like Robert's preset for the network, this is Ethan's preset for the network. that
Or
you
maybe
just want.
different times. It's like time, like
Right.
you could block like if you want to like turn all devices off after 6 p.m. You could
Mhm,
like
mhm.
block everything. From
Turn
there.
off access to like YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys use Google Wi-Fi before or something?
No.
I'd recommend looking into that because it's not the same, but they have like a cool app-based configuration thing for the Google Wi-Fi, so you can change the
Yeah.
settings and stuff.
Well, it's similar, I don't know if you know what Euro is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nest
That's
Wi-Fi.
pretty.
Would you trust a Google router or Google like?
No.
No,
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I would
absolutely.
But I also don't trust my
Yeah.
like I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, because I own it, so I guess I do trust it.
All these,
Cool.
I bought like a Euro, I bought a ring, all these things, then Amazon bought all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's
no.
pretty much what happens now.
Do you think? How do you think ads are sent through Spotify? Like, do you?
That would be hard, I feel like.
They would see your listening data and they're like, all right, this guy really likes like.
Well, because
Wow.
if you don't have
I don't even know how Spotify works.
premium, you get ads randomly, right?
Mhm.
So I wonder how the ads are sent through onto. Maybe we could try and block those.
They're not embedded into songs, or they're like a separate thing.
It's like a separate
Like
thing.
coming from Spotify servers, though.
Really?
I bet if you could like identify it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh my god, you don't even need Spotify.
You wouldn't even
Premium
need
with your
Spotify
Apple,
Premium
that'd be
or
amazing.
something.
This project just goes into legal immediately.
Yeah, well, is that illegal? I don't know.
No, I don't know where it's falling.
Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys chat for the rest of the time here. So I'd recommend talking about these things, talking about what MVP is for the rest of the semester, and then getting those into Jira. So you guys all have Jira accounts, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jira projects created.
Mhm.
Yes. Ready? Cool. So be familiar with that. I'm gonna check in every once in a while and just like make sure that you guys are using Jira. So please just like use it. The sprints are able to be like started here, so you guys should probably like start your sprints and kind of figure out what everybody's working on, and even if it's like light tasks, like assigning tasks to each other instead.
Mhm.
Do you want a picture of this?
Yeah, I'll get a
Yeah.
picture.